Hello, my name is Stacy Cobb, and I'm going to demonstrate my evidence for Standard 1, Mission and Vision, and Core Values. The mission and vision and core values for Standard 1 states that effective educational leaders develop, advocate, and enact a shared mission, vision, and core values of high quality education and academic success and well-being for each student. How do I do this? The first guiding question asks, how do effective leaders develop an educational mission for the school to promote the academic success and well-being of each student? Well, what I did, I worked with a peer, and for the first week or two, I believe, in the beginning of the program, and we came up with a mission and vision statements that's new to each school. For my school, I came up with strengths and weaknesses, things that I like, things that I disliked. Um, she agreed with me, and we went ahead and changed it. So this is the PowerPoint that we used. And some of the strengths is that it was concise, specific groups of people is targeted like the students. It was culturally responsive and focused. Some of the weaknesses, I asked myself, well, are we globally responsive? What does that look like, right? What does the world language proficient look like? What does that look like? Are we doing that in our classes, in our classrooms? And I came up with a new mission and vision statement that states that Theodore Roosevelt High School values all students' unique talents and encourages students to become intellectually curious, world language proficient, and internationally aware. The vision statement, the new one, states that a school that fosters international understanding and welcomes diversity of thought while preparing global reformers. So, I laughed because I was so proud of this statement and I changed it. And, I can't wait to share it with everyone. But when I went to the meetings and I decided let's let's get the feedback of some of the teachers and hear what they say. Well, they said that they love the mission and vision statement and that we should keep it. The principal said that we should keep it because when he came in about 2, 3 years ago, um, he was working off of the statement that we created. And so, how did we create this statement? These statements? These statements were created by the former Principal James, who got us into meetings on several different occasions, and we were separated, and we got our ideas together, and these mission and vision statements were created. And the new Principal Rosson, said, "I'm not going to change this. I'm coming in to work with where we left off, right?" And it was interesting that although we have to look at this mission and vision statement, these statements, every year, that 3 years down the line, 3 years later, everyone wants to keep these statements. And I thought that was very nice. So here are some reasons what they so here's the video, and let me share that, and let me play what some people said. So they want to keep it, but listen to what they
roll around in my head, and especially knowing that you moving into the field this way, is when you look at the vision statement, you got to kind of revisit it every year. But as you revisit, you got to balance instruction versus curriculum. I mean, how well have we achieved this based on instruction? So how well are the teachers doing delivering it? What kind of best practices are we using to make us more global studies, to make this vision happen? And then what is the curriculum that we're using actually helping the students to understand? So is it making diversity of thought the curriculum, the means with what we're using, the material we're reading, the speeches, depending on, what class, what have you, physical education?
Okay, so curriculum, he's looking at how are we using the curriculum to show this mission and this vision statement, right? And then I was able to interview some students, and I introduced the statements to them because they didn't know of it. Some students said that they saw it but never really paid much attention or read it. And I went over some of the words that stood out to them. And I asked them, do we do these in our classroom? Do we do this in school, right? Based on this statement, what are some words that stood out or phrases? They said, well, all students' unique talents encourages and challenges intellectually curious, etc. But then listen to what they all agreed that it's a good statement, but listen to what one student said. World language, how are you getting world language proficiency? Can I ask?
I'm in classes with Spanish and
I take Chinese, for example.
I love it. I love it. So did you also say internationally aware?
yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
meeting new people from different parts of the world, and I have a chance to go to those different parts of the world well before COVID, but like.
So Titi Lope, where did you go with the school before COVID?
No, I said I would have a chance because the culinary arts program was planning a trip to Dubai, but it kind of like the COVID situation kind of.
Okay, so she's saying yes, we do all of this. She sees these things in her classes. The other guy says, the other students also agreed. And yes, they are still traveling. They were traveling to Dubai before COVID. So that was very interesting. So let me go back. Um, so yeah, so here I have evidence for the mission that I did with the students, that I discussed with the students, and also the vision statement. For the vision statement, they agreed that yes, their experiences fosters international understanding and welcomes diversity, um, prepares students for a globally interconnected world. They all agree with that. So the students were also on board. Um, the next, this is a slide of the slide that I use for the students' presentation. And the question is asking, the second question, how do effective leaders strategically develop, implement, and evaluate actions to achieve the vision of the school? Well, I believe that although the teachers agreed, right, that the next step is to not necessarily come up with an action plan, although that would be the third step. I think the next step is to look at what the student said and to have another meeting to decide, let's look at what was said and what happens after that, right? um um what are some things that we need to do? What are some committees we need to come together with, so that that committee keeps that mission and vision committee keeps the other committees in check, making sure that all of their goals are within the mission and vision statement. Then we can come up with an action plan to make sure that we are doing things in the classrooms, right? And this is where my priority comes in. So let me share my priority with you. If I remember where I put, oh, it's in here. So there are 4 priorities. Oops. There are 4 priorities for my school improvement plan. And the first one talks about creating a calendar of events and a newsletter. So while talking to the students, one of the students says to me, I don't want to be surprised, Ms. Cobb. I don't want to be surprised by what's going to happen next year. I said, oh, let me jot that down. I said, because you should not be. So the newsletter is going to reach out to parents and students about what is going to be happening next year so that they are not surprised. A calendar of events. This is going to support families and encourage them to work alongside with teachers. This, all the events that's going to be created, all will be ready to go in August so that this will be presented to the teachers, you know, during the first week back of school. Priority 2, creating a PD online for online substitute folders and also for the math curriculum. And you'll see more of this in priority 4. So students, one of the things in the mission and vision statement, they mentions that students need to be curious, right? In order to build this curiosity, students have to continue learning, right? And in order to do that, whenever they're absent, they can use this. Whenever there's their track meets or suspensions, they can use this folder, not just for when students teachers are absent, but also when they leave the classroom, they know where they can find that folder, certain folders, and use that folder to continue their education. So priority 3 talks about risk management. Students want to be safe, so they want to know if there's a lockdown, that the doors are locked and that there's a screen that comes down covering the glass windows. They want to be safe. And priority 4 talks about developing student ownership. And this deals with the geometry department, and that could grow as the time goes on. It works with the geometry department, it would then work with the whole math, then work with the science, etc. So this priority, we are building the a work together Wednesday, and we are including the technology, the Neopods, the Desmos. We are keeping that in the curriculum. So we are developing a blended learning approach to the curriculum, and we are using all of these you know, tools to into the curriculum to help students. Now, on Work Together Wednesdays, we have an exploratory day where they go onto the field and explore using science, using speakers to integrate the math and to work together. But the mission and vision also mentioned diversity. And so that's where also that the International Academy and the general ed students come together and they work together on those Work Together Wednesdays. And so this is what my demonstration of evidence is all about. And what I would like to do is to thank you for viewing and commenting on my work. Thank you.